are live. Let me record this too to the cloud.
And we are live. Welcome to episode number 33 of the Risk Reward Show, presented by Risk Reward Media. My name is Chris Mercado, aka Mr. Risk. And as usual, I am joined by
Mr. Reward.
That's right. Derek is joining us from an atypical location, a secret location. But we are still here to deliver you the content that you need to find the upside in your career, in your business ventures, and in your personal life. As usual, we will start with the weekly rewind. And if any of you have seen my latest LinkedIn post with a poll, we're going to start with some Facebook drama. So first of all, today, if you had trouble on WhatsApp or Instagram, on Facebook, the platform, it's because these services were down. And I'm having a hard time thinking it's a coincidence, considering yesterday there was a scathing whistleblower interview on 60 Minutes that came out, and this former employee of Facebook has released numerous documents that have detailed that Facebook has known about all of the damage that the platform has done in terms of spreading misinformation, and maybe politicizing certain content, and maybe enabling some bad actors, including the riots at the Capitol. And these documents clearly show that Facebook put profits over the idea of like safety and democracy. So that was a lot of the buzz regarding Facebook today. And because the market was also under pressure, it was also down 5%. So in the poll that I put on LinkedIn, which has quickly gotten some traction, I posed the question, which most angers you about Facebook today? And one choice was the whistleblower revelation. Two was the stock dipping as much as 5%. I think it might have reached 6% down today, which is really hard for like a big company like that. And then the idea that all the platforms were down that it owns. And some people chose all of the above. So we'll share those poll results in a bit. But Derek, what are your thoughts on Facebook?
Capitalism is at its best. That's Facebook right there. I just feel it's not a coincidence that, of course, all of the their apps would go down after this news has like broken. I'm just trying to figure out why it would go down. Are they trying to cover up something? Are they trying to do like some massive cleanup just because they know they're gonna have a lot more eyes on them now? So for them to kind of really do like their cleanup, they had to kind of shut things down just to make sure that no one can access stuff. But I mean, that's what I'm thinking about with regards to like why it is shut down. But for the stock market price, I mean, bad news like that is definitely gonna, I mean, the fact that it went down 5%, like that's a lot. Like it may not seem like a lot to everybody, but 5% is like a lot. But hopefully, the Zucks, does, he speaks up, and just really, talks to I'm pretty sure the government is going to bring him back and talks to him like, Facebook has too much power. The fact that you all knew that this was going to happen, the fact that you're spreading all of this, like all of these lies and stuff like that. I'm just curious to see like what's going to happen to Facebook. And as a holder of Facebook, I want, the news to come out of like, why this all has happened. But I don't think I'm going to sell Facebook though, honestly.
So I heard on the halftime report at CNBC that I believe it was John Najarian, so
Options
of
guy, yeah.
of Market Rebellion, um, Facebook was his second largest position very recently, and he sold, I believe I heard 200,000 shares of Facebook,
Oh wow, damn.
and I believe that was half of his position.
Oof.
So that's a
I don't
lot
have
of
that
stuff.
much though.
I could, yeah, I don't have that bank.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of money, right? Again, that we're talking about. That's why when you sell that much, that one person sold that much in a short period of time. So imagine all the other people with so much money having the same thoughts. And you can see a huge market cap company like Facebook go down, and that's going to affect the broader markets. I'm going to share my screen real quick. If you can allow me sharing privileges, Derek,
Should have it. Yeah.
because I'm going to show the poll that we shared on LinkedIn. And here we have 22% responded that the whistleblower report is triggering them the most about Facebook today. I believe that's only one person that acknowledged the stock dipping 5% was the thing that angered them the most. The outage was big, but all of the above, 43%. So these are just some of the views on Facebook right now. And I think with that, like, I don't know about your use of the platform, but I use it a lot less. I use Facebook a lot less. I am starting to think about TikTok, even though I'm not sure their privacy, I guess accommodations are great. But have you noticed your behavior on Facebook or Instagram changing over time?
Honestly and truthfully, the only time I use Facebook is really for like marketplace. Like if I want to buy something quickly or like sell something fast. That's really like the most when it comes to, with my sourcing of like candidates and just placing jobs, I'll probably post my jobs in like Facebook groups and stuff like that. But as like an active user, I hardly use like Facebook. Um, and well for IG it's more of like me just, that's like my downtime where I'm just when I just need like a quick laugh or something like that. But and sharing stuff that's, going on within the company. But that's pretty much it. So it's not as high as it was. I use them more as like tools rather than like, like everyday things.
Yeah, so my usage of Facebook has gone down, even Instagram, even on the business account of Grant Answers. I think we've been head down and used it a lot less because I guess the value add, we're not sure we're getting as much traction. We can try different things. Changes in the algorithm has to make our the folks who create content for us reshuffle, and a lot of companies have to do that. And again, TikTok has reached over a billion monthly active users pretty quickly. So my small team and I we're thinking about um, trying to leverage TikTok more nowadays. So in decline is our usage of Facebook and Instagram, at least for me and my team. Speaking of in decline, second weekly rewind, which we have talked about in previous episodes. So the stock market is in decline. How are you feeling the pain? I know I have probably gone down 7% over the past couple of weeks, but I did have some hedges to kind of level that off. But again, I have an aggressive growth perspective. So when the Nasdaq gets hit, I might get hit a little bit more. But hey, I'm Mr. Risk. So, Derek, how are you feeling about this stock market decline?
It's expected. We've been preaching that this is the time where things are gonna like get slow, so don't be alarmed by things that are going, red. For me, this is like I always say, when the stock market goes down, this is a good time for you to really, pick and see what stocks are on sale. Because what goes down must come up, and vice versa. And I feel like we're in that what goes up must come down phase. So even though I feel like right now I'm down about 2% in all of my stocks as well as the crypto, but I'm not too worried about it. I haven't hedged like you have in terms of just making sure that if something goes down, then I'm gonna have another thing just like go up. But I'm very just staying with the stocks that I do have, doing my dollar cost like averaging in, and I'm not too worried about it. I mean, I know this is like a very slow time, so this is much expected
Did you mean you're down 2% for the day?
for the day. Yeah,
Okay, so
but
I just want
but
to make it clear for everyone. I am not down 7% for the day. I'm down 7% from like uh a couple of like weeks ago or several weeks ago. It was not 2% down for the day.
okay,
Or 7% down for the day. I was around actually probably close to 2%. So but again, I've been managing my
okay,
risk. Look, a bunch of different factors, seasonality. Typically, this like early fall is like a tough time of year. We've gone so far up, like you mentioned, like you got to take a little dip. Um, I'm not scared. I don't see people like rushing out. I've been in cash for a while. Like I have 30% in cash, which is like high. So I've been waiting for
ready
stuff
to
to come
pounce on
down.
something.
And I pounced on Unity. So I had Unity. I had like a 30% gain and I sold about half
Mm,
about a month ago, which is nice. And I bought some back. And that's what I'll keep on doing with the stocks that I like. I might consolidate and concentrate actually. So I might have the highest level positions that I'll have in the coming weeks. I'm eyeing Moderna. They have had a great
mm,
dip because Merck is got approved for a late stage antiviral pill,
mm.
and it doesn't make sense that just because there's a pill out there doesn't mean folks aren't going to get like vaccinations. So and Moderna has a lot more in terms of how it's set up, beyond like the COVID-19 vaccine. So I'll be buying over time, but I'm waiting for people to be super scared. I don't think we've gotten super scared yet.
Yeah.
So that might bring us to sort of uh, our main topic, and as we talk about these big companies like Facebook, um, we think about kind of some of their other issues, and in tech in general, diversity, equity, and inclusion has been a huge issue that they say that they have been trying to address. So we have addressed DEI before in the show and in various episodes, but starting last week, we started to talk about the idea of these diversity initiatives. Is it really progress or is it actually just pandering? And for part two this week, we wanted to talk about ERGs or employee resource groups, or they're sometimes called business affinity groups. So Derek, I was wondering if you can give a broad definition of what these groups are and like the good things
Mm.
about the structures of ERGs.
So yeah, basically what these employee resource groups are these business infinity groups. What they do is they're basically like the pipeline to bringing in more diverse talent. Either bringing in more diverse talent or just making people feel just included within like the actual company. For
Very
instance,
sense of
you can
community.
have yeah. So for instance, you could have your black like ERG group, your women's ERG group, your Asians group, and stuff like that, and so on and so forth, just to show the representation of each group or what your company is actually just like made up. Um, for me, I think these groups are much needed within companies, because I feel like companies can really just be so focused on like that bottom line and not really think about, like their team. So for someone who is a like any like person of color to have a group that they can actually go to, one, I may feel like as if I have a voice. It may feel like as if I'm like being heard, with regards to what the ERGs do. Like they may for this month, is it, I'm not sure if the Heritage Month is done yet for this month. Is it still going?
Yep,
Latin Heritage Month?
it's
Yeah, yeah.
one of those weird. It's the weird one that goes from the
Yeah.
middle of one month to the middle of the other.
Yeah, so like there's plenty of like, events that are happening just to, one. So just to back up just like a little bit, the outside, I guess like the good face of like the ERG is like to really make sure, just like I said, like people have a voice. But just you have to remember, this is like a business, so they want to have like, some type of goal for it. And for them, a lot of the goals are aligned with like hiring, and making sure that there's like some type of pipeline that's like actually coming in. So with these ERGs, like they're having these events to not only, bring awareness to, what's happening for like that month, but also this is like their pipeline to hire people in to, just to really show how good the company is. This is like brand awareness and all that. So a lot of these ERG groups are aligned with like company goals. And I think that's like an awesome thing, with regards to, building out that like that talent pipeline. But how I mean, that's like the reward side of it. But my true feeling behind is that and I'm pretty sure you might just like touch upon this, but within these ERG groups, I feel like you still create like that silo. Like it's not as inclusive as like it may seem like sometimes. So it does have a sense of like creating that silo still, because even though you want everybody to be, one big happy family, like you're still creating like those separate groups of people. For some companies it does work because they're able to kind of, like I guess not like mix and match, but kind of collaborate with other groups. So you may see the Asian group collaborate with like the Black group or something like that for any event like that's happening. And when stuff like that happens, like that's great. But then also you have, certain groups that are just solely focused on like their own stuff, and like that's it. So there are some risks that are like associated with these ERG groups, but I want you to kind of expand on those other risks that are out there.
Sure. So I separate this into what is marketing versus, I think, what are the business imperatives related to ERGs. So I think because tech in particular, as a quote industry as a whole, by the way, I don't buy into that definition of tech as an industry. Every company out there is trying to be a tech company. When you have the Goldman Sachses of the world claiming that they are a tech company, might throw people off. Now, when they hire more engineers than finance majors, then I guess that leads credence to the idea of Goldman Sachs as a tech company. But the way we think about Goldman Sachs is it's financial services, right? So I'll preface again like my views on ERGs with this idea of how companies brand and market themselves. So for me, ERGs represent a way for the company to say that they care about underrepresented, marginalized groups. Whether you're disabled, whether it's an ERG group centered on moms or parents, whether it's an ERG group centered on the AAPI community, Black women, LGBTQIA folks, that to me is a marketing tactic in a bigger marketing strategy to appeal to folks who identify with those groups. That's what ERGs represent to me on one level. On another level, ERGs do the work that companies have failed at far too often, namely hiring underrepresented talent. And what is horrible about the ERG structure is that for the most part, employees take this on as a voluntary role. They don't get paid extra for this work when they probably should. They are literally doing the work that is hopefully going to offset or make up for the failures of companies hiring and talent recruitment efforts. And it's not fair to the employees who take on this ERG work. So when you think about these functions, and again, I take this hard stance on it. If ERGs aren't structured well, if they don't have the executive sponsorship, i.e. the money, and also like the time that executives devote to speaking with ERG members and other members of the community that the ERG, pulls in during these great events. If the executive sponsorship isn't there, the ERG is going to look like a farce. The strategy to really improve DEI will look inauthentic, and they're going to suffer those consequences, whether it be employees leaving or sharing some inside information about how things really work within a company, how they're really treated, or how certain groups of people are really treated. Yeah, they share that with their friends. Hell, they share that with us. That's how we know a lot of these movements within companies and a lot of these like feelings within companies. And that affects how we recommend a lot of the talent that we might be involved in training, like where we recommend them to go to. Or, we might tell them, you know what, I know you have your heart set on this company, but I want you to speak to a couple of people first and see, if that's really what you think it's about. And in order to prevent these conversations, let's just set up a fair structure for these really valuable employment resource groups. So one, pay the people for doing this DEI work within employee research, within these employee resource groups. Say that again. Hopefully I won't flub. Pay your employees extra for doing the diversity, equity, and inclusion work through these employee resource groups. They deserve to be paid for that. That should not be free labor. That is making up for the company's many years of failures trying to hire more diverse talent. And two, ERGs probably shouldn't exist without executive leadership. So there needs to be a dedicated amount of money committed to these groups so that they can regularly host these wonderful events where you and I, Derek, have made tons of friends, tons of connections. We've brought talent to the offices of Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and almost all of that was through ERGs. I have gone to Netflix's headquarters and brought people with me so that we can engage in a hackathon where I won prizes. In fact, I won a prize for a tech tool to help ERGs that I have yet to scale out, right? And all of that funding, all that travel, all of the food, the places where we slept while we were out there, going from New York to Silicon Valley, right? And they flew in like dozens of other folks from different parts of the country. That all came from ERG support at Netflix. And those are life-changing experiences for so many folks. So if you want a sustainable DEI strategy that's truly impactful, then that executive sponsorship in the form of this is a dedicated budget to do this work. And those leaders have to be in those rooms. They need to show up to those events and really let people know what they're about. Maybe let's let go of a little bit of the executive presence, and let's pull the curtain back a little bit, right?
Mhm.
And I want leaders to show a little bit of how they really are, right? The human side where they get angry, they get frustrated, right? They get super excited. And I think that's one of the core tenets of our show, how authentic we are, right? And I think business leaders should do that a little bit more often. And I think if you have those two components where, ERGs are fully supported and like all around, and individuals who do the work are fairly compensated for this work, then we can have something sustainable. But if you don't have that, then it's going to look inauthentic, and it's going to look like, all these efforts really just amount to pandering.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you really hit it on the head with regards to, the DEI people not being paid. I've seen plenty of people, get excited for getting these roles, whether it be, VP of diversity, manager of it and stuff like that, and literally leave within like a month or two, just because the lack of help that they do have. So it seems on like face value like a very much needed role, but I don't think it has the like the backing in terms of the making sure that the people there are successful, which makes it very, very hard.
Yes, and there's a quick follow point about the sense of community. It also sometimes, increases this idea of tribalism, where, all right, we have the AAPI folks together, right? And yes, that brings some sense of comfort, but you're working in a huge company. We want everyone to work together efficiently and effectively. So the idea of tribalism, and you talked about silos, the idea of tribalism is like antithetic to what you should be working towards in a business.
Mhm.
So how do you balance that out? And that's something that I think ERGs probably not one of the bigger points to address, but I think ERGs need to be a little bit more careful about how much tribalism that they create, because tribalism isn't always a great thing. So, when people start talking about, oh yeah, that's my tribe, I'm not so sure that's a great thing in the long run, because we all inevitably have to like intersect with one another, and that is not what tribalism is.
Definitely not a good thing when you have people who are, for instance, like white people who are still trying to get in touch with these these Black groups and stuff like that, and like they feel so uncomfortable just being there. And I feel like that alone, that creates like that friction, which doesn't help out at all. And I've seen it like firsthand too.
So I love how you brought that up. So this idea of like feeling uncomfortable. So I think this is a good way to wrap up our main topic, because it's going to transition to a couple of new things that came up with this idea of, how we close our show, and with this like right move right now. So I know you want to talk about a particular show, Derek, but let me start this off with this idea of allyship and solidarity, right? So this past weekend, we had the launch of the Stand With Asian Americans, the New York City chapter. And I had a great time networking with some really prominent Asian American Pacific Islander business leaders. I met a fellow Filipino entrepreneur. So it's nice to do that on this month because it is Filipino American History Month. So I got a chance to chat it up with him, and he has a growing beverage business. So the first Asian inspired sparkling water company.
Ooh.
So hopefully, we can broker some sort of partnership here. I get our first sponsor. I say that jokingly, but the drink is great. And I think overall, when that whole Stop Hate Asian Hate movement first came about with all the acts of violence, we addressed it head on. And you represented yourself tremendously as an ally. So I thank you for that. And we had some conversations in this event yesterday where, we can't do this alone. First, we AAPI folks, we need to get ourselves together and like more united. At the same time, we can't do this alone. And acknowledging that the civil rights movement paved the way for a bunch of other movements across different communities was essential to that yesterday. So that's one thing that I want to bring up. But also this idea of being uncomfortable, in being in certain spaces and ERGs, and what role do like white folks have in going to these ERG events? Like for me, what I tell people all the time is, don't apologize for your privilege. Just use it for good. Don't waste your time apologizing. Use it to help others. And I say that because I got access to an event with Damon John of Shark Tank and also of FUBU, who is a hometown hero of mine because we grew up in the same neighborhood. But he's launching Black Entrepreneurs Day. So I will be at the Apollo Theater with a bunch of folks that I have helped, some folks that you have helped, Derek. Again, I'm going to say this again. Black Entrepreneurs Day. What is a Filipino dude like me? What is an AAPI guy like me doing at a Black Entrepreneurs Day event? Am I taking space unfairly? Right? Someone could question that. Someone could question that who doesn't know about like my work, right? Or my impact. That's fair. But I will use that access to help other folks. Now, I will also use that access to let people know about my company and the impact that it has made as, we do consulting to amplify social impact in client organizations, right? I'm not going to waste that opportunity to be around Magic Johnson, Shaq. I think I saw Tyra Banks in there too. So I'm not going to waste that opportunity to amplify like the Forbes list, making a Forbes list with these business leaders, because I might be able to help them. They might be able to help me. They might be able to help the students, the friends that I've welcomed to this event. So I'm not going to apologize for this access. I'm going to use it to help a lot of people.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and with that, I'll throw it to you about your thoughts on that and the fact that you're now a fan of Ted Lasso.
Yeah, I have to give shout outs to my fiance for getting Apple TV. It was one of the best investments that we've made. So it was originally to watch the movie The Banker, which for anybody who is interested in real estate, I would advise you to watch it. It is a great movie. But after watching that, I'm just browsing to see what else Apple has, and I know recently Ted Lasso won a bunch of awards for the show, so I really just decided to give that show like a chance and all that. But I would say it is a really great show for anybody who is looking to be a leader in any facet of life. I don't want to give away too much about the show, but it is a real learning experience for me. Like, I mean, I love to watch like a good show with regards to like, you know, a good like storyline and stuff like that. But I'm really taking what I'm seeing in that show and applying it to real life. Like there's quotes that he says that I actually started to actually use. And you can actually, I mean, it doesn't happen just, you know, like right away, but just taking, you know, what he's done with his team and how I can use it for my team. I haven't seen the results yet, but I can see the change within how my team operates now. So I highly just like recommend to watch it for anybody who is within like, you know, a founder or like a manager space. I think it'll be like a good you know, like lesson for you to learn how to manage a team that doesn't really know you or agree with you like at all. But it's a really good show and plus it's funny. So kudos to Ted Lasso.
So I don't know if there's any copyright stuff here, but or trademark stuff, but if you like those quotes, you better hurry up and put them on some shirts and
Put them on some
screen printed,
swag.
right? And start selling those. You know, do it quick before you know, the copyright people police get you. But yeah, I will look into that. I hear a lot about the show. So you know, we're fans of like the Dan Le Batard show with Stu Gatz. I hear it every week. So and kudos to them for winning all of those awards. So that's great viewing. And I hope that all of our audience thought that this episode was great viewing as well. So thank you again for supporting us. I think there's a few more followers today because of that LinkedIn post with the polls. We're going to organize some of our video content on YouTube a little bit better, but we need you all to hit follow so that we can personalize our YouTube channel a little bit more. And, you know, the more subscribers that we have, the more people will be alerted to our future episodes so that we can continue helping you all find the upside in your careers, your business ventures, and in your personal lives. So please follow, comment, and share. We're going to do a couple of LinkedIn posts that has episode breakdowns to help you all follow. So,
Most definitely.
you know, yeah, for example, we warned you about the seasonality in the stock market. So we warned you months in advance, consistently, right? So we'll ride this out. But again, thank you all for your support. And for the newcomers, again, you know, throw in some comments, ask us some questions so we could be as helpful as possible. Thank you all and have a good night.
Thank you. Talk soon.